invented the tractor, and that made agricultural, industrial farming blow up. Literally, it went from a horse and a plow tilling the soil to combines and fertilizer spreaders, and literally changed the entire direction of the whole farming industry altogether, setting the gold standard for what is possible in the field of farming. And thank God for that, because that managed to help out a lot of people. You know, I'm a humanitarian, and I think in context of how many people could this help, and yeah. So here it is. Here's what some of these documents look like. This is gonna look wild. All right. So this would be an abstract of title. Dun, dun, dun. And this is basically documentation going all the way back to the home when it was first purchased in 1857 from the government. So you can see some of those numbers here, and it literally is like a treasure map, because it has to show who bought the house, and like went all the way dating back to when it was first bought. So like in here, for instance, the United States government, and that was all the way back in 1853. You look at some of these dates here, 1867, 1854. Yeah. And that was just land. That was literally just land, because the house wasn't even built till 1910 or 1911. So it was that was just land back then. So yeah, this is what homeowner becomes like. You have to also prove that nobody has any debt before buying a home, or you have to get the debtors off of the title, which is something that I had to do on this house and didn't want to do. The woman had told us and the lawyers that the home was free and clear, the title didn't have any debts, and she ended up being really far behind on taxes, as well as in debt. She was in debt, and they had it locked in on this property, and we, through some wild things that I do, had to relinquish that attempt to seize her assets, and yeah. So, but this is somehow old. Some of these documents get here, it's almost like a treasure map. Pretty crazy stuff, doing insane shit. This is another one, and it's just like, it goes all the way back. This is kind of some nasty paperwork here. Really don't want to be handling too much of, but wild ride. And a lot of people don't know that about purchasing a house or renting. Yeah, is what being a land baron looks like. So I am a land baron. Get yourself chopped in the chops real quick by this union electrician from Chicago. My family has done electricity for the Chicago Electrical Union since electricity was invented. Yeah, so if you could grasp that concept, we've been doing electricity, and since it was invented on an industrial level in Chicago, the developing strategies, tactics, training people, all of my family's generations. So not a lot of people can say that, especially citizens of this country or anybody in the world. But let me tell you what, it took so many hundred years to develop metal through alchemy. That's mixing, things to make things. It's almost like I would consider it closest to being a wizard. Like if you thought about being a wizard, alchemy, this is where some caveman-esque era, managed to make bronze, metal, steel, iron, and in turn, tools, forged tools, and made things easier to do. That's how all that started, came about. But then some fellow Albert Einstein, 1867 or 1887, somewhere around this area, we're talking about way back when we were forging the free world, the America, this place here is a river, just past the Mississippi River, in Iowa, from Chicago, so I'm not very far from Chicago, and this is where John Deere has his factory. Not only does John Deere factory make tractors, they can also convert a 24-hour notice into making tanks in the case of wartime. So, pretty cool shit. And those guys are some hard workers. It takes a true grit, real strength to, have forged a way like that. A lot of people in this country don't quite grasp that concept. They just want to be like, hey, this is my shit. And it's like, nah, sacrifice and hard work. There's no kings. Like, these people are trying to front like, I'm a king. These were all the slaves who did all the work before us. And we just slept on beaches and ate like dogs. And fucking dog shit. I killed a pig on a dust ground under a tree, and we didn't have structure. But these guys were doing all the hard work the whole time. We were just sitting back, waiting to invade and take all their shit. It's like the weakest form of invasion. / we've already cleared out as to why invasions are inhumane, and all that stuff is whack and fucked up. Inconsistent, and those people just don't have dignity, respect, morals. They're just inhumane rapists, and there was like Viking era and shit where religion helped clarify that people weren't just psychopaths, but this guy came home and his kid was getting fondled by a black guy, and this guy was fondling his child, and in the documentation here, one of these reads with the white guy. He had auburn hair, kind of like mine. Came home, black guy was fondling his child, and guy just immediately went to town on the dude with a hammer. Hit the African. Because in this town, in John Deere, or in Waterloo, the John Deere has a union, and the union was striking. When a union strikes, that means that they all gather together and stop working to renegotiate contracts for better pay. And black people, you hear more about slavery, literally from black people. They go on and on about slavery and shit, and literally just drag down the country like everyone about slavery, but they don't even know what the fuck the union is, and this is the union. They, organize work and trades for better pay, and, because big companies will just go and take all the, cash and really just, they could, basically rip people up, but through the union and things like that, organized thought as well as information, people can gain control. Like Walmart doesn't like the unions, and usually lobbies and lobbies against the union because they want to have an open work field or something. But pay, and despite, I mean, your work was worth a lot more back then, but I was really enriched for working with the people, you know, being able to help people and, you know, watching them grow up. But I did get ripped off financially and didn't have a wife and kids and still don't. And now I'm seeing some crazy shit happening. Literally, the world is going into turmoil, and it's happening like on basically my, you know, right at my doorstep. I don't know what these women are doing. I think they're trying to like gather against like girls being with me. I had a girlfriend, and they had deranged her, seeked her out, and attacked her at her home, and yeah, all this stuff has just been so fucked up that God has started to freak out, and it's like the reckoning of Christ. Like, yeah, I worked really hard. You know, I work hard and I teach a lot. I'm good with people. I gather friends and have them get jobs, and I've like taught kids, you know, different jobs before in my life, and you know, I've always just been a guy of people. Right now, I'm isolated. I'm isolated in this house. See, here's me. I'm just going through this stuff. I don't have anybody here though, and they're actively isolating me and like trying to torture me. And it's really a fucked up situation that God has stepped in. And here's what happened 3 hours ago. Last night, a massive tornado in Minnesota. Like tornadoes, like are just wrecking the country right now, right around me. I even tried to paint the house and the paint got freaking off. And this is just a video of the tornado.